as the saying goes, when you're in charge, take charge. But how do you do that when you lack experience? Listen to how Steve MacBeth learned to lead with humility and let experts show him the way.
I went to look for opportunity of something that maybe would help me when I went to the Army, and I found this job. There was a geophysics company in Kingston, and they had a contract in northern Saskatchewan in Uranium City. And at this point in time, my parents had actually moved back to Saskatchewan, so there's a home connection there also. And so I joined this company, and my job was essentially to work before the geophysicists went in. We would fly in to like these remote areas of North Saskatchewan or Southern Northwest Territories, only in the winter, so the very coldest depths of winter. We'd establish a camp, so cut out on the edges of a lake, cut out a camp, build Jutland frame tents, put in stoves, cut firewood, and then smash through the ice to pump water in, and then set up the kitchen tent. And then once that was complete, that was your living accommodations, and for the team, the technical team that would fly in later, we would take these little tiny skidoos called elands. They're these tiny little things that actually fit onto a twin engine otter, and you can they're very easy to maintain. You can move them just by with one person. And we would navigate our way out into literally the middle of nowhere, and then cut lines, cut out trees for kilometers so that we could establish their grid for their survey. And then once the geophysicists land, they would give you this backpack that had like a big spool of wire on it. And I don't even know what the technical thing was. I knew that my job was to have the spool of wire on my back, and then I would shoot a bearing through the forest between the cut lines that we had built. And they would have two pieces of wire on skidoos that would move along this cut line, and then I would march on a bearing or walk on a bearing through the woods to connect so that they could create a circuit and then run electricity through it. And then that's how they would judge where the best spot was to do what was called a borehole survey, where they would bring in heavy equipment and then dig down to get out a sample to be able to test for whatever they were looking for. But I can't think of a better way to prepare for basic infantry training than, here, we're not going to tell you really what's going on. Put this 40-pound thing on your back, put on snowshoes, and walk through the woods on a compass bearing after you've established a tent camp in the middle of nowhere. And so that was what I did for the year. You lived hard and learned how to live like that. And then I went off to Wainwright to basic training.
So you could have gone to infantry basic training, engineer basic training, or signals basic training, because you seem to have captured all those elements in that job.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really good, and it was my first real introduction to like northern communities and First Nations, and almost all the guys that I worked with were First Nations guys up there, and I can remember just being amazed at their abilities. They were so comfortable navigating in the woods, or if we knocked a ski off of the land, like I was a mess. Like trying to figure out how to do it. They would know how to like tie up the lack of a ski and then be able to balance it, and or if they knew like open water, like how to survive when you're on the lake, and if there's open water, if there's slush, and how to do these things. And they were an amazing instructor to me. Like I was supposed to be in charge, but actually, with their skill level and knowledge, it was a good lesson in leadership for me to let people that were supposed to be by structure subordinate lead from that level, because they had technical expertise and learn what they're learning, improve at it, and then only influence where you needed to. It was a big lesson for a young guy, and responsibility up there. It was good stuff.